So Elon Musk's time at DOGE is finally coming to an end. Over the last few months, you could say, the very least, this was somewhat controversial. Elon Musk has struggled with Tesla, people vandalizing Teslas, protesting Elon Musk, protesting Tesla stores. But I think overall, there are some misconceptions. And now that Elon Musk's time at DOGE and advising the White House is over, I think we should make a few points. So here are 5 thoughts on Elon Musk's time at DOGE. Number 1, he had to end his tenure with DOGE because he was a special advisor. The special government advisor, which he was enrolling under, was a 130-day limit, and Elon Musk wanted to make sure that he stayed within that time, or at least that's what he said. So this had to happen. His time was going to come to an end. This is important because many people say, oh, the Trump White House was sick of him. They were sick of what he was saying about tariffs, or they were sick of what he was saying about the big, beautiful bill. Some of those things may be true. They may not be. But ultimately, this had to happen, and this was a consequence of our limited government. Number 2, DOGE is not unique. This is very important. Now, one way DOGE is unique is the publicity it got in today's world of social media, of X, which Elon Musk controls. We were all very divided around DOGE, and that's where it's unique. However, special advisors coming in or the president trying to save billions of dollars is not unique. President Obama did this just a few years ago, just 10, 15 years ago. Multiple times he tried to put together task force to save a lot of money, to save hundreds of billions of dollars. And a lot of the criticism was around whether or not he's actually saving a lot of money, which is honestly some of the criticism I have of DOGE. This also happened with Ronald Reagan in the 1980s. He tried to save hundreds of billions of dollars. You can go back to the 1920s, 1910s, 1930s. We're always trying to save money. There were accountants involved, special advisors coming into the office. This is not unique. Elon Musk is not unique in that role. Now, the biggest flaws that many of these people had was that they saved some money on the margins, couple billion here, couple billion there. Obviously, that's still a lot of money. But what happened was they still spent trillions of dollars. Whether you're Republican, liberal, Democrat, conservative, doesn't matter. They're still spending trillions of dollars. The savings kind of like we save some money on the margins, and that's a good thing, and then we spend trillions of dollars elsewhere. All right, number 3, based on the first 2 facts that Elon Musk's time did have to come to an end, and he did apply that ending to himself, and that DOGE is not unique, this has happened before. DOGE is not fascist. DOGE is not a form of fascism. You can call Elon Musk, Donald Trump, you can say that you hate them. You can say that you're against what they're doing. That's all fine, right? You can say that they're cutting money in the wrong way, that what they're doing is stupid. But based on the historical precedents that we've set before in the United States, cutting a budget is not fascist, right? So I think this is important because a lot of people told you that Elon Musk was coming into the White House, taking over the White House, right? There were videos of him at staff meetings, and the way the videos were made, it made it look like he was running everything. Maybe he was even a puppet master for Donald Trump. Clearly, everything didn't go the way Elon wanted it to go, right? That's part of his public frustration of DOGE is he wants to cut more and Congress isn't ratifying. We'll get into that a little bit more. But Congress isn't ratifying a lot of the cuts, and he's upset with that process. You can criticize Donald Trump for doing this, for cutting, for bringing Elon Musk in. People criticized him for not being American-born, whatever. However, it is not a form of authoritarian fascism to bring in someone to cut a budget, right? I get what some people are saying, like we're cutting aid without talking to Congress, but we're kind of not. So I'll get into that next, but it's just not fascism. Those who told you it was fascist, either were lied to and repeated those lies, or they were the ones that were doing the lying. All right. Number 4 is Doge has cut around $175 billion so far based on their estimates. And if you look at this, stretch this over a 4-year term, it's around $1.87 trillion. Now, that is an extremely large number, $1.87 trillion. Huge, massive. We could break down $1.87 trillion so many ways. You can't fathom how big that number is. So if they saved $1.87 trillion, wow, amazing. Here's the problem. The savings have slowed down over the last few months. It was something like $100 billion were saved in the first 30 days. And then over the last couple months, it's only grown to around 75 extra billion. That's a small drop in the bucket if the government keeps spending trillions of dollars every single year, and we still have a $36 trillion debt. So $1.87 trillion, awesome, bravo, good. But it's also up to Congress, the president, to get spending under control, which it doesn't look like they're doing. There's been a lot of talk around the big, beautiful bill, Republicans infighting around it, whether it's actually saving money, whether it's ratifying the cuts from DOGE, what have you. But it doesn't look like there's any ending to America's addiction to spending on debt. All right, number 5, this is the last one. This is probably the most important, and this goes back to a few of the other points. Number 5, the savings are not official yet. 175 billion is the estimated savings from DOGE's government website. Some have criticized that some of the savings are wrong. Some have also criticized that the savings, they overestimated them, or they were contracts that weren't actually bad. They were just mistakes. So it could potentially be less. And some of it does have to go through Congress to be ratified. And there's a pretty good chance that all of that won't get saved. So the estimated 1.87 trillion over a 4-year term could be closer to 1 trillion or even less over a 4-year term. That's still a huge dollar amount, but that money in the end isn't going to make much of an impact on $36 trillion in debt when we continue to spend money. Something dramatically has to change. Either DOGE has to find some real money that Congress has to ratify. We have to change our budgets. We have to increase our income. Something has to change within the United States, and I don't see it happening anytime soon. I think what's important here is that Elon Musk's time at DOGE is a little anticlimactic, because we were told at first that it's illegal what he's doing. This has no historical precedent, and it's fascism. And they're cutting trillions of dollars from healthcare from the United States and Medicare and poor people and blah, blah, blah. And the Republican Congress is taking over. Pretty much all of those things were false, unequivocally false. You can criticize this project all you want. Go ahead, right? I have criticisms myself. But the criticism that this is essentially a fascist dictatorship taking over, taking trillions of dollars from poor people, simply isn't true. And anyone who has told you that told you because of political, ideological rhetoric. And I would say, honestly, they're not thinking independently. They're lying to you. Or they're just willing to believe these things because they hate Donald Trump, they hate Elon Musk. In the end, not a lot of money's been saved. In the end, even less money has probably been saved than we estimated of 175 billion. It's probably going to end up being less in the end. That's all I got. I hope this helps you understand the issue a little bit more. This is all good information that you can find about DOGE, about the historicity of DOGE and price cutting in the budget. It's not just my political opinion or anything like that. These are just some independent facts that I've used to come to a conclusion. Thanks for watching.